Welcome to the Deep Dive. We've pulled together an incredibly rich collection of wisdom today. I mean, a stack of really foundational ideas, quotes, and research.
Yeah, it spans everything from philosophy to faith and even high-performance psychology.
Exactly. We're talking Leo Tolstoy, Tony Dungy, Simon Sinek, Deepak Chopra, and they're all focused on one central goal.
Which is how to architect a life of intention.
Right, how to minimize future regret and, maximize meaning right now.
And that's really the mission here. We're not just talking high-level philosophy. We want to cut through the noise to extract, let's say, 3 fundamental structural components.
3 architectural pillars.
Exactly. Pillars that can transform these deep insights into, well, an actual blueprint for your life.
And what's interesting is the moment you start digging into this material,
Yeah.
you hit this central conflict immediately. We live in a society that doesn't just value speed, it worships it. Speed and productivity.
We're always rushing.
Yeah.
Always towards some, vague, future-perfect version of ourselves.
And that's the whole challenge, isn't it? How do you stop rushing toward a future that's, by definition, fleeting, and instead embrace the irreversible value of the present moment?
That's it. Because if we can't master the now, then that highly optimized future we're all chasing is going to feel, ironically, profoundly empty when we finally get there.
That sets the stage perfectly. So let's start with our first foundational principle. Pillar 1, the urgency of presence and the tyranny of rush.
Well, the first, and I think the most painful insight shared across all this material, is this kind of cruel irony of time.
Which is what?
That we only truly understand the value of a moment once it's completely gone.
Well, I love how one of the readings framed this. They called it the photograph you will never take. And you know this feeling. You've definitely experienced it. That sort of misty wistfulness of nostalgia, looking back and realizing you missed the shot.
Because you were too busy trying to get to the next thing.
Exactly. And you can never go back to that specific moment, ever.
And that realization is so stark because these opportunities, they're non-renewable. They are finite.
We're talking about simple things.
The simplest things. You only get so many bedtimes where your kid wants you to read them a story. Only so many drives to school before they can drive themselves.
These moments are finite.
They are. And that can feel paralyzing. It puts this immense pressure on us to be perfect in every one of them.
So how do we translate that urgency into action without, tipping over into panic or anxiety?
Well, the intention isn't perfection, it's attention. The goal is just to act today to send a clear message to your future self.
A message that says what?
A message that says, we didn't rush through it, we soaked it in. It's just about choosing attention over distraction right now.
But that flies directly in the face of, all modern expectations. Our work, our social media, everything is built around maximizing output.
This is where we see that paradox of more. Mother Teresa had such a profound insight here.
What did she say?
She said that without patience, we will simply learn less, see less, and feel less in life. The rush to get more of everything usually results in us experiencing less of life itself.
So hurry makes us numb.
Completely. We become deaf to the conversation in the back seat, or, blind to the light falling across the dinner table.
That's a brilliant connection. And Simon Sinek's observation really underscores the ripple effect there.
Right.
The quality of our presence shapes what comes next. Complaining leads to more complaining. Anger creates more anger.
But optimism begets more optimism. Your attention isn't just a mood, it's a generative force. It creates momentum.
Which is why that daily check-in from Tolstoy is so critical.
It is. It's a razor-sharp, almost severe question to ask every morning. What good thing am I going to do today?
Not tomorrow.
No, today. And the warning attached to it is so solemn. When the sun goes down, it takes a part of your life with it. That part is gone forever.
So presence is our only defense against that future regret.
It's the only one we have.
Okay, so that sets the foundation. We have to be present. But then comes the next logical question, which is, once we are present, how do we make sure that effort actually builds something durable?
And that leads us perfectly into our second pillar.
Pillar 2, proper sequencing. Building the vessel before the engine.
And there's this really powerful athletic analogy used throughout the material that makes this so clear.
I love this one.
You just cannot put a Ferrari engine, all that explosive potential, into a flimsy Volkswagen frame. It won't work.
It'll tear itself apart.
Exactly. You have to build the capacity, the structure, the vessel before you start demanding power and results.
And this is where most of us get tripped up, right? Whether it's in a new business or even just trying to repair a relationship. We want the power now.
We do. We try to skip the foundational steps, and the source material breaks down the necessary progression into 4 essential steps. It's a slow, methodical build.
Okay, so let's break those 4 steps down because this is real the core of the blueprint.
The first step is alignment, or you could call it movement quality.
What does that mean in, say, life, not just athletics?
It means making sure your intentions and your actions are properly aligned. You're realigning your frame. You have to know how to show up correctly first.
Okay, so after alignment comes step 2.
Endurance, building the gas tank. And this isn't about huge, flashy efforts. It's achieved through, and I'm quoting here, repeated bouts of effort with perfect form right beneath our current threshold.
So it's the consistency of showing up correctly, even when it's boring.
That's it. Only once you have a stable frame and enough endurance can you move to step 3, strength or horsepower.
This is where you add load.
You methodically add load, you increase the difficulty, you face the bigger challenges.
And only then, at the very end, do you get to the flashy part everyone wants to start with.
Speed and explosiveness, yes. That's only possible when the underlying structure, your mind, your habits, are prepared and sturdy.
Let's apply this. So in a new business, alignment is what? Your core values.
Your core values, your market fit. Endurance is showing up every morning for 3 hours of deep work consistently when you're not seeing results yet.
Strength is taking on investment. Speed is that explosive growth years later.
And it works for emotional growth, too. Alignment is recognizing your triggers. Endurance is choosing patience again and again and again, even when you're tired.
You can't skip those steps and expect to suddenly have emotional resilience in a crisis.
You can't. And the result of doing this work, of proper sequencing, is internal stability. The structure becomes your anchor. And this leads us right to what Deepak Chopra says about true self-esteem.
What does he say?
He says that when you've built this internal frame, true self-esteem becomes responsive to feedback, but immune to criticism.
Immune to criticism. Wow, that sounds like freedom.
It is freedom. True self-esteem, built this way, is completely unconcerned with the opinions of the world because you know the work you've put in. You know your frame is sturdy. You're grounded. The crucial lesson here is to stop confusing net worth, all the external stuff, with self-worth, which is this deep internal structure.
That shift in perspective is so valuable. It gives us a real roadmap. Okay, so now let's pivot to the third pillar, which deals with the inevitable reality that, well, we're human. We're going to be inconsistent.
Right. And this brings us to pillar 3, the sine wave of growth and the necessity of fellowship.
And this is where Tony Dungy, the Super Bowl winning coach, comes in with this just refreshing honesty.
Yeah, he's so open about it. He admits his spiritual growth wasn't some steady upward climb.
It wasn't a straight line.
Not at all. It was an irregular sine wave, peaks and valleys, progress, and then regression.
And that's it, isn't it? We all secretly want that perfect exponential growth curve. But the truth is, life happens. We have great weeks, and then we hit a trough where we're just rushing and totally out of sequence.
That irregular pattern is the universal human condition. So if the pattern is unpredictable, the solution has to be structural. We need infrastructure to support us in the valleys.
And the ancient solution for this, from the Book of Acts, provides a template.
It really does. They created a holistic support system. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, so shared learning.
Alignment.
Yes. And to fellowship, which is connection, and to sharing in meals, which grounds it all, and to prayer, a shared discipline. They didn't rely on just individual willpower. They built a system around the person.
They understood that isolation just breeds stagnation.
Isolation is the fast track right back down into the trough of that sine wave.
And Dungy gives these really concrete, modern examples of how he does this, even with a crazy travel schedule.
He does. He didn't just hope for connection. He committed to weekly phone calls with scattered friends just for sharing and encouragement.
He intentionally sought it out. He joined his friend James Brown and even hotel employees in New York for a study group when he was on the road.
He built his own ecosystem. But it all rests on a fundamental personal discipline.
The quiet time.
The quiet time. Quiet time on my own, usually in the morning before the day begins to fold in around me. The community is the infrastructure, but that morning quiet time is the daily work that keeps the frame sturdy.
So the lesson is clear. The whole myth of the rugged lone wolf, it just doesn't work for building a good life.
Not for a sustainable one. Real strength comes from vulnerability and accountability within a trusted group that lifts you up when you're in a trough.
Okay, so we have presence, sequencing, and community. These are the 3 pillars. For our last segment, let's talk about how these actually manifest in the real world, how we, live the sermon.
This requires us to really challenge our definition of excellence. There's this provocative quote from Jean Giraudoux that says, "Only the mediocre are always at their best."
Oh, wait, hold on. That sounds wrong. We're aiming for excellence. Why would being consistent be mediocre?
Because if you are always day after day performing at your absolute peak, it means you've stopped pushing your boundaries.
Your ambition is too low.
It's constrained to what's comfortable and safe. True excellence involves striving, expanding your capacity, taking risks, all of which naturally invite failure and lead to those peaks and valleys.
So if your sine wave is flat, you're probably playing it too safe.
Exactly. And that completely changes the definition of resilience, right? It's not about being a robot. It's about maintaining your effort while accepting the inconsistency.
It's that mantra. Be the hero of our own story, no matter how we feel. Get up, dress up, show up, and never give up.
That's the commitment. The consistency of the process, the sequencing, especially on those inevitable valley days.
Living this way also means we have to hold necessary paradoxes, holding two contradictory truths in tension.
Right, because wisdom lives in that tension. St. Augustine gives us the classic example.
What's that?
He said, "Care for your body as if you were going to live forever. Care for your soul as if you were going to die tomorrow."
So you have to be simultaneously patient in building the long-term structure.
And urgently present in your daily choices. It's a tightrope walk.
George Bernard Shaw had another one about growth, about mistakes.
Yeah, that success is not in never making mistakes, but in never making one a second time. Growth needs the humility to accept failure, but also the discipline to learn from it.
So all this structure, all this sequencing, it ultimately leads to what Oliver Goldsmith called the silent sermon.
You can preach a better sermon with your life than with your lips, or like Rumi said, speaking in 100 silent ways.
The real sermon isn't a big pronouncement.
No, it's not some inspirational social media post. It's preached through quiet, daily choices. Putting down the phone, choosing patience, showing up for your community. That silent sermon is the final result of all three pillars working together.
Your life becomes the evidence.
It becomes the most persuasive evidence of your architecture.
So let's wrap up this blueprint. We've laid out the three architectural pillars. Pillar 1, presence. You have to choose attention over rush.
Because those moments are non-renewable. Then pillar 2, proper sequencing. Build the vessel before you demand the engine.
Alignment and endurance before strength and speed. And finally, pillar 3, community. Support the sine wave. Acknowledge that inconsistency is the pattern.
And build the fellowship and discipline to navigate those valleys. It all comes back to that central truth, the message you are sending to your future self today.
The architecture of a life well lived isn't built in those rare moments of inspiration. It's built in the patient, repeated, quiet work of honoring the now.
So what specific, irreplaceable moment are you refusing to take for granted today? Ask yourself, are you prioritizing the urgent, distracting noise, or are you prioritizing the essential groundwork?
Do your future self the profound favor of a lifetime. Be present. Build the vessel. Show up no matter where you are in that sine wave. You can't stop time, but you can choose to be fully here now.